keep an eye on what they do from a trade standpoint as the season goes along. There's already been some connection between them and Walker Kessler with the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are difficult to make a deal with. They have very high asks, but it's possible Walker Kessler could change teams, and he fits nicely about what the Knicks want to do. Also, I would say Robert Williams from Portland. I would say any team looking for a center is going to watch Robert Williams closely this year. After the Blazers drafted Donovan Clingan and they've got DeAndre Ayton, who's probably not very tradable on their roster, I don't know where Robert Williams fits, and I think the Knicks will be among the teams monitoring him. So as the season goes along, Zach is absolutely right. We'll see Julius Randle and his role in that contract be a topic, but on the court, how that center position goes is going to be a big topic from week to week as they try to get going.
All right, boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. Today we're going to be discussing the Knicks potentially trading for center Robert Williams. This is a video that we did briefly touch upon earlier in the offseason. I said that I would love to have Williams, but I didn't see it as very realistic. But now that seems to have changed because Brian Windhorst says that, well, the Blazers, they're going to be tanking for Cooper Flagg in 2025, the projected #1 pick. So he expects them to move Robert Williams within the next month to an NBA contender, and the Knicks certainly have interest. We've seen them go after Walker Kessler and Nick Richards, and I don't know if there was any definitive report about the Knicks and Blazers discussing a Time Lord trade, but you have to imagine that if he does become available, the Knicks will be certainly a team that calls to at least check in on what he's going to cost. And Williams fits exactly what the Knicks are looking for, a center that protects the rim, a guy who can catch lobs. He's just 27 in October, so that puts him in the same age as guys like Dante DiVincenzo and Jalen Brunson, and just basically our entire team is in that mid to late 20s, right? No one on our team is currently over 30 right now. Which is just crazy, man. We've got a very young team. Everyone's in the prime of their career, playing the best ball of their life. I just can't wait to see what happens next season. I think it's going to be one of the better seasons in Knicks franchise history. But the thing with Williams is that he's basically just like Mitchell Robinson. He blocks a lot of shots. He's an all-NBA level defender, but he can't stay on the floor. So Mitch, he's played in over 60 games just once. You look at the last 4 years. And then Robert Williams has played in 41 games over the past 2 seasons, and I believe once in his career he's played in over 60 games, and that was that year the Celtics went to the finals, and he averaged 3 blocks per game. Another thing is, well, what is Williams going to cost? Because just because the Blazers suck, I mean, they're not going to trade him for cheap. They want to get something legitimate, so I could see them wanting Become Dadier. Maybe they want Miles McBride. Those 2 protected firsts the Knicks have, and maybe they're interested in that. Who really knows? Would I trade Miles McBride for Robert Williams? I mean, that's very difficult because I don't know if I can trust Williams to stay healthy. I mean, it would be like trading Miles McBride for Mitchell Robinson, and I would trade McBride for Walker Kessler because the dude just turned 23 and he's been durable and he's a great defender. But for Robert Williams, probably not. But I don't think that would be what it would cost. I'd have to imagine they'd want like Dadier and maybe a couple of picks or something like that. I would do that. I mean, that would be a great trade for the Knicks. I think Dadier's got a lot of potential, but we're trying to win right now. Dadier doesn't help us win right now. He helps us win in the next 5-6 years, but we're trying to win a championship right now. And we know that the window is so small in basketball. There's always a different team winning the championship every single year. So if we can go and get one, I mean, that would be great, right? That's what we've got to be focusing on. And for Walker Kessler, I mean, I've talked about it on the channel. I've said that he is the #1 guy on my list right now. 23 years old, averaged 8, 8, and 2 last season, shot 65% from the field in 64 games. His per 36 is 13 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks. He's got a monster team-friendly contract, $2.9 million cap hit in 2025-26 and $4.9 million in 2025-26. I mean, that's just super rare. That's another thing about Williams that I haven't mentioned is his contract is not cheap. I don't have it written down in my, actually I do have it written down in my notes. So $12.4 million this upcoming season and $13.2 million in 2025-26. So if the Knicks take on that contract, they sure as hell better be getting a guy that's available that can play in at least 60 games for them. I mean, could you imagine if the Knicks traded for Williams and Mitch and Williams got hurt, and now all of a sudden we're paying Mitch and Williams a good amount of money, $24, $25 million, and we have Jericho Sims and Precious Achua getting those starts and those minutes. I mean, that would just be a disaster. So overall, would I trade for Robert Williams? Absolutely, but not for Miles McBride. It's got to be for something that for a player or a picks, like something that we're not going to be able to benefit off of, right? Like those protected picks don't help us win unless we trade them for a player. And then like Pacome Diadier or Ariel Laporte or certainly we're not trading Tyler Kolek for him. I mean, no way. Like I think Kolek's got a very bright future, and I also think he can help us right away with his playmaking ability. And I did see him working out with Jalen Brunson. It was cool to see those guys go head to head. Melo's son was actually there too. I mean, I don't know. Like I really like these young guys that we drafted, but I just know that they're not going to be thrown into the Knicks rotation right away because Coach Tibbs, he's a veteran type of guy. He doesn't want rookies out there. I mean, I remember, Manuel Quickly was a rookie who did get minutes, but of course we favorited Alec Burks over him. So I mean, Kolek, yeah, he's probably not going to get run over Campaign. And Campaign has looked good this offseason. I've seen him working out in Knicks gear, and he definitely looks in good shape. And I think he's going to be a big time pickup for us. But yeah, overall, the Knicks do need a center. And the reason why it's taking so long is because a couple of reasons. The Knicks don't have a lot of leverage. We don't have a lot of money to work with because we traded for Mikal Bridges, we extended Jalen Brunson, and of course, yeah, it was a team-friendly deal. But we also gave OG a bag. I mean, OG's making a lot of money. We do have to extend Julius Randle, and of course, we haven't really made too many free agent moves. I mean, vets minimum and like cheap types of deals. But the biggest thing right now is just getting insurance at the center position, because the last thing we want is to not win the championship because of injuries at the center position, like Mitchell Robinson, for example. If you look at our starting lineup of Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, I think that's arguably the best starting five in basketball. And then our bench, we're going to have Dante DiVincenzo coming off of it, Miles McBride, we're going to have Precious Achiuwa and Josh Hart, Campaign. We've got a very strong bench as well, but right now we just want somebody behind Mitch that if he were to get injured, that we can slide into the 5 and still get elite rim protection and rebounding and be able to catch lobs. I mean, Precious Achiuwa is undersized. Jericho Sims, I mean, the Knicks like Jericho Sims, is the reason why they picked up his team contract, but I don't think they love Jericho Sims. If they did love Jericho Sims, we wouldn't be coming up in reports of Walker Kessler and Nick Richards and Robert Williams, Time Lord, right? Like, that just wouldn't be happening. And Sims, I mean, he's in his mid-20s at this point. He's been on the roster for years, and I don't think he's gotten better. But this is the first offseason where I've actually seen Sims working on his game. I mean, yeah, he's been in the weight room. He's strong. He's a 44.5-inch vertical. But working on his post-up and his fadeaway and his touch. So, I mean, maybe Sims does have a monster season, but I'd rather just have Achiuwa and Sims as our backup versus trade McBride. I would trade McBride for Kessler again, and I love Miles McBride. I don't want to trade him. But in terms of we could get a better player than McBride, I would do it. But, I mean, Williams is good, but injuries are a big thing, man. We don't want to have two injury-prone players making money. Like, that's what it would be. So if we do trade for an injury-prone player, we cannot be giving up a lot. That's where I'm at, guys. Peace.